Have you ever felt trapped with nowhere to run? Imagine an entire nation feeling that way. This is the story of one of history's greatest escapes, a tale of faith, desperation, and a miracle that defies explanation. This is the story of the Red Sea crossing. For 400 long years, the Israelites had been slaves in Egypt, their spirits crushed under the weight of bondage. But a leader had risen among them, Moses. Sent by God, he confronted the mighty Pharaoh, demanding, "Let my people go." Pharaoh's heart was hard. 10 devastating plagues swept across Egypt, each one a divine message, each more terrible than the last. Finally, after the 10th plague, a heartbroken Pharaoh relented. The Israelites were free. Wasting no time, they gathered their families, their livestock, and what little they owned. Guided by a pillar of cloud by day and a pillar of fire by night, over 600,000 men, plus women and children, began their exodus from the land of their suffering. Their destination? The Promised Land. Their path? Straight into the vast, unforgiving wilderness. But freedom is rarely won so easily. Back in his palace, Pharaoh's grief turned to rage. How could he let his entire workforce just walk away? "Why have we done this?" he fumed to his advisors. "We have let Israel go from serving us." Regret consumed him. He summoned his army, the most feared military machine of the ancient world. 600 of his finest chariots, along with all the other chariots of Egypt, thundered out of the cities, a cloud of dust marking their furious pursuit. The Israelites had reached the shores of the Red Sea. In front of them, an impassable body of water. Behind them, the terrifying sound of approaching chariots grew louder and louder. Panic ripped through the crowd. They were trapped. They turned on Moses, their voices thick with fear and anger. "Was it because there were no graves in Egypt that you brought us to the desert to die? It would have been better for us to serve the Egyptians than to die in the wilderness." Their hope was draining away like water in the sand. But Moses stood firm, his voice ringing out over the terrified cries. "Do not be afraid," he commanded. "Stand firm and you will see the deliverance the Lord will bring you today. The Egyptians you see today, you will never see again. The Lord will fight for you. You need only to be still." Imagine the faith it took to say those words, with an army bearing down and a sea blocking the way. Then the Lord spoke to Moses. "Why are you crying out to me? Tell the Israelites to move on. Raise your staff and stretch out your hand over the sea to divide the water so that the Israelites can go through the sea on dry ground." As night fell, the pillar of cloud that had been leading them moved to the rear, positioning itself between the Israelites and the Egyptians. It became a wall of darkness to the Egyptians, but it lit up the night for the Israelites. The two armies were kept apart all night long. Then Moses stretched his hand out over the sea. A moment of pure, heart-stopping tension. And then it happened. A strong east wind began to blow, howling through the night. The wind was so powerful, so relentless, that it began to push the waters of the Red Sea apart. The water piled up into 2 towering walls, one on their right and one on their left. And in between? Dry ground. A path where a sea had been just moments before. Hesitantly at first, then with growing courage, the Israelites began their march. They walked into the heart of the sea, the walls of water shimmering under the light of the pillar of fire. Can you picture it? The sheer, terrifying beauty of that moment. A nation walking on the seabed, surrounded by the power of the ocean, held back by an unseen hand. All through the night, they crossed. The Egyptians, blinded by their rage, saw the path and didn't hesitate. They charged in after them, horses, chariots, and all their soldiers. They were confident they could trap the Israelites within the sea itself. But their pursuit was not so easy. The Lord looked down from the pillar of fire and cloud and threw the Egyptian army into confusion. He clogged the wheels of their chariots, making them difficult to drive. "Let's get away from the Israelites," the Egyptians shouted in panic. "The Lord is fighting for them against Egypt." By daybreak, the last of the Israelites had reached the other side, safe and sound. They stood on the far shore, looking back at the path they had just taken. Then the Lord said to Moses, "Stretch out your hand over the sea, so that the waters may flow back over the Egyptians and their chariots and horsemen." Moses obeyed. He stretched out his hand, and the walls of water, which had stood as a testament to God's power, collapsed. The sea returned to its full depth, right as the Egyptians were, in the middle of it. The water crashed down, a thunderous, unstoppable torrent. Not one of them, not a single soldier or horse, survived. The entire might of the Egyptian army was swallowed by the sea. That day, the Israelites witnessed their salvation. The Lord had saved them from the hand of the Egyptians, and when they saw the bodies washed up on the shore, they understood the magnitude of what had happened. They put their trust in the Lord and in his servant Moses. This wasn't just an escape, it was a profound declaration. It was the birth of a nation, forged in faith and delivered by a miracle that would be told for thousands of years. It's a powerful reminder that even when you're trapped between an army and an impossible sea, sometimes you just need to be still and have faith that a path will be made. Thank you so much for watching. If this story moved you, please give this video a thumbs up and subscribe to our channel for more incredible stories from history. We'll see you in the next one.